Welcome back, everybody, to our final match of Starladder China Season 10, day number 3 of 7 for the group stage here. You're watching live from Beyond the Summit. I'm LD, and, well, it's time for Hyper Glory Team, currently sitting 2-0 in the grid, up against Tongfu, sitting 0-2. So HGT off to a fantastic start this far, and, well, we'll have to see if they can keep it going. With that being said, the draft is officially underway, and this time we've got... Alright, cool. We're good to go. Got it right this time. Yep, Tongfu on the Dire side, HGT on the Radiant. So we will have a first overall pick Shadow Shaman from HGT. Interesting. Lately it's been the Scarith Mage if a team wants to go for a support in the first phase, but we won't see that. The reply is the classic Void Skywrath. We all know how it works. Chrono, Mystic Flare, dead. Potentially multiple heroes if you're far enough ahead. And then HGT go into a bat. So they get a difficult to zone out offlaner if they want to run them that way. Now HGT pick up a Tuskar. We've seen a little bit more Tusk play as of late. I would say with results. Hasn't been overwhelmingly great. Has had some decent games. It's been kind of hit or miss overall. And then Tongfu reply. They'll snag an Earthshaker here. They get a good defensive support, albeit one that does struggle against Batrider later on in the game. Those early levels he can do decently well. And now Tongfu will follow this one up with a Brewmaster. So heavy team fight, heavy crowd control for them. A little bit melee-centric, and getting this many melee heroes when you already are running a Void is a bit risky. It means there's a high chance that you chrono in the Brewmaster aspects, that you chrono in the Brew or the Earthshaker heroes, and... generally, I would say that you'd rather have a Sand King here than the Earthshaker if you're going to run the Chrono as your primary team fight for the Faceless Void, but Sand King was banned out, so I think a smart ban by HGT in the second phase. Now Tongfu moving into the final set will ban out a Spectre. I hear that we have seen on occasion for HGT for ZSMJ. Yeah, saw him play an Ember Spirit the other day as well, and he actually did exceptionally well, so excited to see if he can continue delivering those big plays for his team. But yeah, it's an interesting game to run Tide. There's honestly a pretty good combo to shut him down here. Chronosphere and a Mystic Flare. That is, outside of getting Doom, that's the strongest combo I would say to shut down a Tide Hunter. Disruptor Static Storm is pretty good as well. Tinker. And Tongfu will round out their draft with a Tinker. So extremely potent late game for them. Good team fight control, heavy AoE. And this will prompt the Morphling pick. So it looks like it's going to be a ZSMJ Morphling, I believe. Looking forward to seeing that, if indeed it's the case. And the players will begin selecting their heroes now. So, yeah, I think it should be probably an offlane Batrider is what we're looking at here for HGT. Most likely, Tuskar may roam. He may do a bit of support mid lane early on. I think we're going to see a maybe it's a jungle bat and an offlane Tide. That'd be a little bit greedier, but it's definitely possible. And with that, we'll get into the game, and we'll see exactly what the players have planned. And Kaka just starting with 2 branches. Okay, so it looks like he may end up going mid. I'll put ZSMJ on a defensive tri-lane and potentially just the Tide to the off-lane by himself. But for now, they will move into their jungle and look to defend it against a potential incursion from Tongfu. This will be our final match of Day 3 for Starladder China, folks, if you are just joining me. Of course, we can run through our lineups now, but after this, and coming up in about an hour and a half times, we have Europe. Actually not sure exactly how many games we have today, somewhere between 4 and 6, but yeah, plenty of European Dota headed your way, so it'll be a long, long day for me. A total of probably 12 to 14 hours of broadcasting, but it's for a good cause. It's for Starladder Season 10, and, well, if I had to stay up all night, then I wouldn't be anywhere else than with you ugly bastards. Yeah, so for Tongfu, Red will be your offlane Void, Kabu on the Earthshaker. Going solo mid will be U9 handling the Tinker. Up towards the top lane goes LPC on the support Scarith Mage, and that leaves Xiaolu as the Brewmaster in the safe lane. On the side of HGT, you've got Icy, formerly of the old Rattlesnake squad, if you remember them. I think mostly they made their mark for 2 things. Lanham and their dual lane Clockwork Darkseer. Very annoying to deal with. But yeah, over to Pretty Hall, he'll be playing your support Tuskar. The SMJ will run the Morphling, and that leaves Doyu. Oh, sorry, Doyu's the stream. It's like, man, it's just that, it's only one character, and it's in the middle of his name. Yeah, it's S. S will be playing your Shadow Shaman. That's Pretty Hall will Snag an invis here. This one, of course, spotted out by Kabu. So they know the Pretty Haw's on the prowl, yet they don't have the best ways to deal with them. They'll go for a fissure block here, bottom lane, just looking to keep the Faceless Voids lane back a bit and slow down the creeps. Ensuring that Red can get that easy level 2, get a point of backtrack or bash, and have a better start to his laning stage. So looking at the lanes overall, we're going to be seeing a Bruce Skywrath up against the Tide. Skywrath really good at zoning out Tide. Doesn't rely on his auto attacks nearly as much as most other supports do at these early levels, and well, heavy nuke damage is what you want. Kraken Shell, not going to help you against that. Of course, you can still remove the silence, but that's about it. Well, comparing the offlanes, the Faceless Void offlane will do reasonably well. Especially with the early fissure block. He's gotten already his level 2 just about after this wave. Yeah, 4 experience away. So basically has it. Kabu did manage to D-ward, so they could continue pulling. Or fissure blocking, I should say, not pulling. And then Earthshaker can stack those up if he wants. But for now, he's not going to bother. And when you're running the Tinker, you definitely need those stacks. But they may leave that for the Void to do and send the Earthshaker off to stack these camps. This would be the big one, as well as the safest one for him to farm. Does make that journey towards top. Well, meanwhile, bottom lane, Red gets harassed a lot. Took an Ether Shock, took a Ice Shards to the face. Not enough to kill him off, but has to be careful. There's also a waveform for Morphling to worry about, and they have a lane ward, so they see exactly what this Void's up to. The instant he steps out too much, they can go on him. Just continuous harassment here as Red turns and just starts clobbering S. A lot of damage from that Void. They have no level 2 in Shaman. All they can do is right-click. But they get the Ice Shards out. They're going to force out a Time Walk. And that's the second Time Walk of the game. That prompts a salve. Well, if Red overextends now, he may go down. About 30 seconds, a little bit longer perhaps, before he has another Time Walk ready. And they'll try to cancel us out, but it already did its work, so not the biggest deal. Uh-oh. Oh no, this is not good. Snowball. And now they're bringing in Kaka as well from the middle lane. They're going to surround him with 3. They now have a point in Shackles, and this should be your first blood. Really nothing that Red can do. He's surrounded by 4. His backtrack procs are just ridiculous. Not to mention that poor man's shield. That combination doing a lot of work. But not enough work. We'll end up falling in the end. Also do want to remind everybody that Starladder Southeast Asia is also ongoing, where that one's being streamed on Beyond the Summit, the main channel. So if you want to watch those games, head over to twitch.tv/Beyond the Summit, guys. And coming up next will be Johnny's Revenge versus Myth. That's actually a pretty big match for the Southeast Asian division because both teams doing pretty well. Like Myth and I think like 4-3. Johnny's Revenge was 5-1 or 6-1. So Winter Squad off to a hot start, and well, only the top 4 teams go into the playoffs with a chance to advance in that region. But yeah, Kaka off in the jungle here. Just doing some farming. Oh, Fissure Block, I see it. This could be trouble. Then again, he does have boots. He does have Anchor Smash and Kraken Shell, and they can't really follow this up. So in the end, he will make it out just fine. The one lane we haven't really looked at yet, which I'll turn my attention to now, is this mid lane. It started off with a Bat Rider here, but now they've given the lane to the Shadow Shaman. The Bat Rider, as I mentioned, is jungling. But it's a level 3 Shadow Shaman. He'll get his levels. He can't do anything to harass the Tinker. Can't do anything to slow down his farm. And also has to be worried about potentially giving up kills if he's not careful. He'll now move to stack his own Ancients. This is something the Tinker can... Or the Tinker could look to steal, but more importantly, the Tide will look to farm soon. Coming from the offlane as S gets pursued out. Udai's going to look to run him down. He knows he doesn't have boots. Oh no, okay, let's stop there. Just wanting Kabu to get in range. Soul Ring now purchased. So we're not going to see the Boots of Travel Rush we saw from Yao in the previous match today. We're just going to see the standard bottle, Soul Ring, then into your BOTs as the jump comes in top lane. Silence out. Clap was already used though, so they won't be able to stack up this bonus damage quite as efficiently. But they followed up with the stun from the Earthshaker, and Icy now goes into the trees. He's just sealed his own Death Warrant here. Maybe not. Yeah, one more clap. The Anchor Smash was doing its work though. And suddenly Xiaolu was just not doing anything. So in terms of Kaka, Tranquil Boots is now coming. Yeah, Tranquil Boots picked up. He's got his bottle. And this will delay his blink a bit, going for bottle as well as the completed Tranquil Boots. Generally in the offlane bats, we just see Tranquil Boots straight into blink. Sometimes we even see just boots into blink, depending on how the game develops. But to go for this, that's like an additional anywhere from 650 to 900 gold. Actually, more like 1,000 gold if you get the Tranquil Boots End bottle. So yeah, that is half the blink, basically, that he has spent. But at the same time, can be more aggressive in lane, can help push, can take the tower shots better with 9 armor to come his way. So it has its benefits. I want to punish this offlane Void. The one weakness of the hero is before he hits level 6, he doesn't D-push very well. And this is where Morphling is a decent carry. With some agility morphed, he hits reasonably hard, he attacks pretty fast on the tower. He's also got his Ring of Basilius, but he's taking too many tower shots. He's going to have to remove this aggro. He'll do that now. He'll salve up. He'll come back in looking for the last hit, and they'll give it to him too. Oh no, actually the Tusk sniped it. Yeah, it's not bad to give your supports farm, but to me, Morphling is one of those carries that like actually just needs every little bit of farm he can get. Needs the fast Tequila, the Midas if he wants to go for it. The Lincoln Sphere Rush takes forever to complete. But it may well be a Lincoln Sphere game. Mostly because you're up against the Scarth Mage, and that silence does a lot of work to Morphling. Other option is to go for a BKB, as they start diving this middle lane, hunting S a bit. There are no points of rocket or heat-seeking missile. Now the turn comes. It's a snowball back in, nearly dying with LPC. Now looking for more. They're going to slow him down a bit with the Frozen Sigil. Still pursuing out the Tinker, but the March is doing too much work. U9 can turn. He can laser this, and he will do so with the final nuke in from the Scarth Mage. They both live, and they end up getting the kill. Before all this action happened, they did freshly ward off the Ancients, but a single stack has come. So this is something Taker can look to farm. He'll get one step closer to his Boots of Travel. But yeah, if you're HGT at this point, you're waiting on Bat Blink. That's going to be a while. You do have Ravage online. Morphling can't really do too much aside from Split Push. Could join the fights, but doesn't offer you a ton of burst damage or real killing potential compared to some of the other carries. We see a lot of like the Razors, the Vipers, Death Prophets. So most likely ZSMJ will just be off split pushing. His team will fight for Protect 1 Dota. And they do have Snowball, so it's like a pseudo Blink Dagger that Pretty Hall brings to the table for his team. And they may smoke now. Smoke's actually cooling down for 10 seconds. So we'll have to wait for this, and they are actually walking dangerously close to this Dire Observer. Oh no, they had another smoke. Did they? Oh, no, I guess it must have been just 10 seconds. Yeah, it must have been. But now find U9. Oh, he's getting close to his Boots of Travel. This is costly. Great pick off here. The Tinker. U9 will drop. Much needed from Hyper Glory team. Now looking for more. LPC on the retreat out, but he's slowed down by the Sigil, which now heads the other direction. A little bit of miss micro there, I think, but nonetheless, will ensure the kill. It's a 2-0. And right, just like that, HGT finding the rhythm back on top. Still no Shaman wards, though, and they really need those to push. You've got Icy still sitting on Ravage. He's going to rotate towards the top lane, look to defend this tower. And I think the big thing for HGT is you've got to get Shaman wards online. Without it, they really can't push. As on the other side, for Tongfu, they have Chronosphere. They need to just sit back, farm, selectively take fights that they can win with the Brew Split and the Chrono. And I think mostly they just want to counter-initiate. They don't want to be going for too many aggressive ganks. Because they're not the lineup that needs to force issues, things like that, and they don't really have the best killing potential yet. Tinker can't get involved in ganks, Earthshaker's fairly immobile, and Scarth Mage doesn't have his ult. So once they get Mystic Flare, then we'll probably see Red and LPC combine and go for some kill attempts. As they're preparing to dump Icy top lane, they have Brew Split for this. They can Fissure now, they can follow up with the Split if they want to, but they're not going to do it. Xiaolu probably would have gotten the kill there. There is Kraken Shell to worry about, but you get the double Boulder toss off. You get your Cyclone to prevent him from retreating. They just didn't want to risk anything like that. And U9 will begin to work on these Ancients, but it's pinged out immediately. CSMJ saw the March. If they can kill the Tinker again, this is going to put Tongfu in a horrible position. Marching, now rearming again. That Rider Illusion has scout this out, so they'll definitely know exactly what's going on. They'll see that U9's fairly low. You got a quick glimpse of him. Now another Illusion coming in. But nobody really in position to jump that. They're actually going mid. I see Anchor smashing. And the wards are up. This is the key for HGT. They'll be able to take a tier 1 mid now. No glyph. No way to defend this. Wakabu maneuvers into position for a fissure block. He'll keep Icy off. At least from attacking him, but Icy doesn't really care that he's trapped out. Now Ravage is on 2, and the jump in comes. Kaka lassoing the Void, pulling it back. They bring down the Skywrath. They get the Void as well. It's a 2 for 0. The tower was at least denied by the Skywrath, so a small victory there. But Tongfu taking a horrible fight. Didn't even get the chrono off. Still have their split that they're sitting on, but just don't feel like they can take a fight. They'll lose the 3rd hero. All of this, not with a bang, but with a whimper. Not even firing a single shot. No big ultimates used. The good news is Tinker has BOTs. That's the small piece of good things going Udine's way. Meanwhile, there are quite a few Ancients on the HGT side. Quad stack for IC, I believe, at this point. Yeah, and he's going to be farming these up nicely, so we'll be getting a lot of additional golden experience here. This will be, let's see, what is he going for the early mech? I think with the Bat Rider, we'll just see Icy go straight mech, and that will give them an extremely strong team fight. As U9 looks to push this bottom lane in. By the way, I want to point out Pretty Hall going Snowball and Frozen Sigil, which does seem to be this. Well, I don't know about leveling up the Snowball. This level 1 Snowball is still pretty strong. Like, you get more damage and more damage per allies, but the basic concept of the Snowball is still there, where you can just dodge spells, give your team a way to initiate, and yeah, I mean, it scales reasonably well, but to me, the shards offer you a lot more bang for your buck. But yeah, Frozen Sigil is definitely a good spell to max first. I'm a big fan of that. Kaka will move top, S will join him, and ZSMJ waits, but there's a lane ward here, so Xiaolu should be ready for this. Are they gonna jump in? That fire flying over the trees. He knows what's coming, but can he stop it? Apparently not. He gets lassoed, pulled back in. They wanted to counter-initiate. They'll get off the chrono, and Xiaolu was not caught in it. Perfectly played by the Void. Almost looked like Red was going to catch it his teammate. Well, it looked perfect, but maybe it's not. They'll get the Bat Rider as a trade, but a Void for a Bat, not the best exchange for Tongfu. And they may lose more here. Additional TPs coming in. Mech is ready. Icy can hold the line here, but he gets Cyclone. Oh, this might be costly. He's going to come down fairly soon. A few seconds before he drops, while meanwhile they wave forward. CSMJ finding a kill. Pretty Hall joining him for that one. And still they have not mech'd up the Shaman. They, like, forgot he existed. And so he's like, I don't really want to go in with this health, guys. But I want to help the team. So I might risk it anyway. And another kill for ZSMJ. 3-0-1. HGT. Looking like they might be the strongest non-big name team in China right now. Right after LGD, IG, Vici, and Newbie. They're looking good here in Starladder. S will live. They'll take a polar punch a creep, and hey, why the hell not? Anything to push in a bit quicker. Now the TP in from Xiaolu. He'll come on top and work on Icy. He doesn't have a split, though. That was already used in the previous engagement, and Icy has Ravage. He'll deploy that on 2. They'll look to bring down Xiaolu. The evasion is there for him, but it's not quite enough to save him. Then the Polar Punch. The follow-up from Pretty Hall is simply insufficient, though. Now forced to TP out. Can they cancel this TP in time? Doesn't look like it. And they might get an additional kill here. Kaka found LPC just on a little jaunt through his own woods. Well, that's the end of the Skywrath Mage. They are about to get a Blink Dagger and Tinker, though, so his item progression continues pretty much unhindered. That is crucial for them. With the Void not farming well, being pressured a lot, they need a fat Tinker to have any chance. But Kaka is starting to get out of control. 3-2-5. They have 13 kills. He's been involved in nearly all of them. And the Tinker actually just got solo killed mid by the enemy Shadow Shaman. I'm thinking he might have disconnected. Because Kaka's making a face in chat and the Radiant paused, so I don't know. I guess HGT just needed a quick pause. Well, that's not good. Tinker with a blink getting solo killed by a Shaman. And it's no blink on the Shaman either. Like, if he has a blink, that's understandable, but jeez, that is costly. And now ZSMJ will siege this tower out top. He'll get the last hit as well, and that's pretty much his Lincoln Sphere. 500 gold or so until the recipe. Very important item against Tongfu. Chronosphere already very ineffective against Morphling because he can Strength Morph during it. On top of that, you've got things like Fissure and the Scarlet Mage Silence, which you really want to block. Scarlet Mage does have other single target nukes, Arcane Bolt, and you've got Arcane Bolt is the main one, and there's Tinker Laser. But problem is, you really don't want to get that close to a Tinker. Or to a Morphling as a Scarlet Mage. LPC, though, gets caught out. He was going for a bit of a wart. Nearly finished off by the Adaptive Strike, but the turn comes now. Shallow jumping back in, will split, and works on ZSMJ. He's very close to Linkage. This is a bad time to die. They chrono up too and still focus on ZSMJ, but the Shaman on the other side of the fight finished off LPC, and they just can't finish off the Morphling in time. He stands through this. Now they Cyclone up the Tide. He doesn't actually have Ravage anyway, but it does buy them a bit of time. ZSMJ is not hitting hard, but he can just wave in. He still has damage from waveform to worry about. And that's now pursued out to the southern end of the engagement. They're going to lose red for this if they're not careful. He's auto-attacked down by the enemy Shaman. Will end up getting the trade. Unai now forced to TP out. Pretty chaotic engagement near the Roche. Near the Ancients. Xiaolu trying to run, but slowed down by the Tusk. Will we have a dunk? No. Water Sponge cooling down. And now Unai joins back in. But he's only got level 2 lasers, so his burst damage is a bit lacking. Seems like they might want to fight this a bit further as Kabe rotates in, but... yeah, he can't get a rage for a Fissure. So in the end, it's now over a 10k gold lead going the way of HGT. And we can do a quick item check. The Linkage is out, the double blinks are out, Shaman just picked his up. And now it's another 600 gold. Earn online for Tuskar. Yeah, they're getting big. And bigger items will be coming next. As there's a wave in top lane. On to U9. Caught up by Batrider. And it's finally a game where one of Tinker's natural predators is in the game. And he's struggling. Shaman with Blink Hex is nice, but Batrider is just the man at dealing with this. Does Xiaolu really look to chase this? He's got no split. I'm not sure what Xiaolu's plan is. This is really questionable. Red King, no chrono. He can't do anything to save him. Waveform's pulling down. That's just a... oh, that was not a good move. Yikes. Well, not looking good for Tongfu. They're already 0-2 in Starladder, and they're just getting outclassed. And they'll just GG. 17 minutes in. 20-6 your score. Well, that concludes Starladder China day number 3 action, guys. Sorry it wasn't a slightly closer game number 4, but hey, what can you do? Can't win them all. Coming up in an hour and a half, I will be casting... I believe it's an hour and a half. Let me just double check the calendar. It's Starladder Europe. Let's see. What do we have coming up first? Coming up first, we will have Tinker versus HR. No, I think... okay, that's not correct. I think the first match is Cloud9 versus somebody. Let's see. Anyway, I'll let you guys know later. I'll update the overlays. But that is going to wrap up our coverage of China for today. Day number 3 of 7 of the group stage. So the round robin nearly halfway over. It will be halfway over, middle of the way through day number 4. I'll be back tomorrow to cover China, guys. But coming up in about an hour or so, I will be casting, maybe an hour and a half it is. I, of course, will be casting Starladder Europe. I think 5 or 6 games today. It's going to be a long day. Hope you guys enjoyed the coverage so far here on Beyond the Summit. Starladder Season 10 continues after this. And, oh, by the way, Starladder Southeast Asia is going on now. For all that coverage and more, head over to twitch.tv/BeyondTheSummit VODs for today at youtube.com/BeyondTheSummitTV. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back soon.